news.
You freed the others?
Well, no. But I got something you're gonna really like. Wait.
My power sword! By the power of Grayskull!
He-Man, you may have it, but Skeletor's about to get it!
Happy Monday. What is going on in this world? What's going on? I don't even know where to start.
Of the UK, and we just signed a document. This is sorry about that. A very important document. A little windy out here. Give me that. We just signed it, and it's done. And so we have our trade agreement with the European Union, and it's a fair deal for both. Going to produce a lot of jobs, a lot of income, and we have many other ones coming. But you see the level of enthusiasm is very good. But the relationship that we have is fantastic. So I just want to congratulate you.
But Donald, thank you very much. This now implements on car tariffs and aerospace, our really important agreement. And so this is a very good day for both of our countries, a real sign of strength. So thank you again, Donald. A really important day for both of us.
Great people.
Has anything changed in the agreement since you spoke on the phone from the Oval Office?
How much?
Nope. This is implemented.
We all know the great Prime Minister of the UK, and we just signed a document. This is sorry about that.
A very important document.
A little windy out here. Give me that. We just signed it, and it's done. And so we have our trade agreement with the European Union.
Right there, that was President Trump and the Prime Minister of United Kingdom, Britain, and it was a trade agreement. And the president said it was a trade agreement with the European Union. And you see, look at the Prime Minister of Britain's face, because it wasn't a trade agreement with it wasn't a trade agreement with the EU, which includes all of Europe. It was a trade agreement with one country, United Kingdom. So if you look at the Prime Minister's face when the president says that, he knows, but he lets it go, because he's with the President of the United States. Let's take another look at it.
You see the level of enthusiasm is very good, but the relationship that we have is fantastic. So I just want to congratulate you.
Donald, thank you very much. This now implements on car tariffs and aerospace, our really important agreement. And so this is a very good day for both of our countries, a real sign of strength. So thank you again, Donald. A really important day for both of us.
Great people.
Has anything changed in the agreement since you spoke on the phone from the Oval Office?
Not much.
Nope.
Not much.
This is implemented.
We all know the great Prime Minister of the UK, and we just signed a document. This is, sorry about that.
A very important document.
A little windy out here. Give me that. We just signed it, and it's done. And so we have our trade agreement with the European Union, and it's a fair deal for both. Going to produce a lot of jobs.
You see the Prime Minister's face, but he lets it go. It's a trade agreement with the United Kingdom, and some of this. Let's see what's going on. So we still got Israel and Iran fighting. Benjamin Netanyahu was interviewed by ABC News today, just telling all types. I don't even know why they even put him on. And why people be listening to him, especially the President of the United States. Because he's just out there. All the thing he wants to do is bomb and unalive people under the United States name. And he just be lying, trying to drag the American people into some bullshit. Like, leave us alone. We're not really into that type of stuff, We want to live our lives as Americans. And we definitely don't want to be unaliving people and making the Lord God upset. Starving people, bombing people, hospitals, schools, assassinating people. We're Americans. We're not really into that shit. And it's really sad when people try to bring us into it. And it's not cool. And it's not American, it's un-American. America was always known as the hero of the world, dependable, trustworthy. And these presidents are trying to drag us into the ground. It's so annoying because it might not show today, but in the future, and in future generations, Americans are going to have to pay for all this nonsense that these 80-year-olds are causing around the world. So annoying. Let's see what else we got here. CNBC is soon talking about the conflict between Iran and Israel. Hold on.
Let's start, though, with the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. NBC's Keir Simmons joins us from Dubai with the very latest this hour. Hi, Keir.
Hey, Kelly, I'm told by a senior Gulf diplomat that those reports that the Iranians are reaching out to try and see if it's possible to negotiate are true. Now, of course, the question here is about what kind of negotiations the Iranians are really interested in, because the Israelis are signaling still today that they have no interest in negotiating anything other than the complete removal of Iran's nuclear program, civil or military. And the Israelis are winning this now. It's not going to be a quick war, that's clear, but they do have control of the skies. And while Israel is facing a bombardment of missiles that it has not seen in recent memory, it at the same time is dominating, frankly, the battle with targeting sites all across Iran. In Tehran again today, there were signs of major munitions dropped on that city. The Israelis saying that they continue to hit not just nuclear sites but military sites and to try to target Iranian leaders. Even the Prime Minister Netanyahu, again refusing to rule out the prospect of targeting the Ayatollah, the leader of Iran, despite the NBC News reporting that the Trump administration told Israel it did not want it to do that. So a mixed picture, and certainly a very dynamic picture. And one of the questions, of course, is about how effective the Israelis really are being in targeting that Iranian nuclear program. The Fordo site, which many people who know the detail will know, is buried deep in the ground. The Israelis continue to say they have not targeted Fordo, despite having targeted Natanz, they say, and destroying much of what was there, and Isfahan. So again, a mixed picture, the possibility of diplomacy, but at the same time, I wouldn't rule out the prospect that this continues now for weeks, possibly longer.
Although we're learning, Keir, that the Israeli military now tells the public it's possible to leave protected areas, so another little hint towards some resolution potentially of this conflict. Thanks for now, and we appreciate your time today, Keir. Thanks. Keir Simmons out in Dubai. For more on the conflict, let's bring in Trita Parsi, Executive Vice President at the Quincy Institute, and Tom Dannenbaum. He's a professor of international law at the Fletcher School at Tufts. Welcome to both of you. Trita, I'll start with you. And it does appear, signs are pointing in that direction that the Iranians are asking for a pause of some kind of truce here. I don't know the word to use. What more do you expect in order to come to some kind of international agreement?
Actually, I disagree with that. I don't see the signs of that at all. And I don't think that some of those reports have been accurate. I think it would be fantastic, of course, if there was a return to the table. But based on my own conversations with the administration, we're not seeing that at this point. And when it happens, it will not happen in the manner that the Israelis or the administration would hope for. It will happen in a way in which the Iranians will likely harden their position. Opinion inside of Iran, both in the elite and society, has dramatically shifted in favor of weaponization. That's not where it was before this conflict, but it's shifted dramatically in favor of weaponization as a result of what the Israelis have done, which makes it more difficult for the Iranians to negotiate a compromise, even based on the one that they agreed to, which was 3.67%. Zero enrichment was always a non-starter. It's going to be even more difficult to get that at this point.
Let me just jump in, because I'm glad that you said all of that, because there are plenty of skeptics saying even if Iran comes and says, okay, we're ready to strike a deal, why should the international public believe them?
Well, it's not actually that, because they were ready to strike a deal. They were in a deal. Trump walked out of that deal. And they were also at the table. There were supposed to be talks on Sunday. You're talking about this as if the Iranians left the table. The Israelis bombed the table. That's what happened here. So the question of actually getting back to the table is not one in which the Iranians are the ones holding out or the U.S. holding out. It's the fact that this bombing has pushed the two sides so far away from each other that it's difficult for both of them to be able to find a face-saving way back to the negotiating
table. But when you say that the Iranians are now going to race for the nuclear weapon, and again, according to reports, they could maybe have that by 2026, you say this is hardened public opinion within the country and so forth, then is there anything left for the international community to do? If that's the case, then what's the response from international institutions?
No, I didn't say that they're racing for a bomb. I'm saying opinion in the country has shifted dramatically in favor of going for a bomb, which makes it more difficult to get a deal because the compromises are going to be increasingly costly and the political maneuverability for the Iranians is less than what it was before. We still have to try, though, because reality is that is the only way this can be resolved in a satisfactory way. What we're seeing right now is that the Israelis are not being successful in taking out the nuclear sites. They're bombing TV stations.
Well, they don't have the heavy. They need the heavy U.S. planes, right, in order to reach these deep underground sites. Yeah.
Exactly. Which is why the question is, why did they start this when they actually don't have the capacity to finish it? Well, they did so because their aim is to drag the U.S. into this war, and so far Trump has said no to that. But instead, they're bombing TV stations. They're setting off 5 car bombs, apparently, in Tehran, according to themselves yesterday. Mm-hmm. That is not a sign of a successful campaign to get rid of the Iranian nuclear program.
Perhaps, Tom, the way that this is being framed right now is that Israel kind of has Iran cornered, and that they're the ones holding the cards in their airspace and so forth, and that's why the Iranians are reportedly responding the way that they are. Do you, like Trina, kind of disagree with that assessment?
Well, I think the key question to start with is, did Israel have a legal basis for resorting to force against Iran? And under international law, there are only 2 bases on which one can resort to force, to resort to military action. One is the authorization of the Security Council, which has not authorized this action, and the other is self-defense. And self-defense has to be either against an ongoing or an imminent armed attack, a specified and imminent armed attack with respect to which there's no alternative other than defensive reaction. And even on Israel's own account, the action in this case does not meet that defensive imperative because it is about precluding Iran's capability vis-a-vis a possible future attack as opposed to addressing an imminent.
The IAEA's report, which was just a day or so before this campaign was launched, indicated that Iran was on the path towards achieving these weapons. And there seems to be international consensus that now you have people saying, yeah, probably 2026 could be realistic for that. Why does that not pose an imminent threat to Israel?
2026 is not an imminent threat. As Rita mentioned, there were ongoing negotiations. There was a previous deal, the JCPOA, which had been working before the United States withdrew. But even in the current context, there were negotiations ongoing. There were supposed to be discussions on Sunday. That is an alternative mechanism through which to preclude the development of a nuclear weapon. and therefore does not justify the resort to force on defensive grounds. Defensive force is where there is no alternative. There was an alternative. That alternative was obliterated by this attack. And so there is no legal basis for resorting to defensive force in this particular context. 2026 is not an imminent threat.
Right, but as I understand it, I'm no nuclear expert, but when they achieve certain milestones, they're well along the path of obtaining these weapons. Iran is. So did Israel see a moment to strike and this window of opportunity before some of those milestones were hit? And I guess back when they struck Iraq a couple of decades ago, the international consensus was similarly against that. I think Reagan was against it, and then ultimately came around. Same for some, I believe their strike on Syria, similar story. Ultimately, the international community came around, and those strikes have now resulted again in taking out areas that otherwise would pose probably a pretty imminent threat to them. So, are we quibbling around the calendar timing here?
No, the question is there an alternative mechanism through which to address a threat? And is the threat real and imminent, or is it prospective and possible, perceived? If we start applying a standard through which states can attack whenever they think there's a possible future attack oncoming from an adversary, and where they are acting in this current moment to preclude that possible future capability, then what we are doing is setting up an international system whereby when Russia sees the possibility of Ukraine joining NATO and a possible future threat posed by that, they're going to attack. When the United States sees the possibility of weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, they're going to attack. And in these kinds of instances, Israel's going to attack Iran. And all of those are unlawful uses of force, and the legal threshold is set at a specific and imminent attack precisely so as to set a limit on the resort to force, to set a limit on the context in which we go to war.
Yeah, so I don't know if October 7th changed that though, Tom.
It didn't need to be this specific issue that we're discussing right now. October 7th was an attack by Hamas. It resulted in an authorization.
Is Hamas funded by Iran?
Funding doesn't generate a right of defensive force regarding this particular situation in this moment. Israel is not claiming in this moment that it is responding with a defensive imperative necessity vis-a-vis the Hamas attacks in its engagement in Iran right now. It's claiming that it is doing so with a view to precluding a future capability.
Understood. Trita, I'll give you the last word here. Tie this up to the extent that you can, at least for the moment here. As investors, in the market mood is matching more of this constructive take on the whole situation, which is that Israel, to some extent, has an upper hand here and may be able to force Iran into some kind of conciliatory stance.
I can't speak to what the markets are thinking, but the reporting of this in times of war is filled with misinformation. So perhaps they're acting on some of that misinformation in order to adopt a more optimistic view of what will happen here. I think facts on the ground point to a very dangerous situation, a very dangerous risk of escalation, particularly mindful of the fact that despite everything the Israelis are saying, they're not succeeding in actually really damaging the nuclear program, at least as of yet, and the prospects for that is very limited. I also just want to say many of the things that were said earlier on are simply incorrect. The IAEA said that the Iranians are in non-compliance with some of their reporting requirements. That is very, very different from anything similar to what you stated, which is that they're close to a nuclear weapon. That is not what the IAEA said. There's no international consensus on that whatsoever. So what the Israelis are doing is actually using the Iraq playbook that turned out to be absolutely devastating for the United States. They're setting up a false case for war, and in this case, they're setting it up for the United States to enter the war. And just as much as the Iraq war ended up being absolutely disastrous strategically for the United States, there's very little to indicate that a war with Iran that has shown itself to be far more capable than fighting back will be anything but an absolute travesty and a strategic setback.
As you see it, this is about dragging the U.S. into it and becoming involved. Gentlemen, thanks. Appreciate it this hour. Trita Parsi from the Quincy Institute and Tom Dannenbaum from Tufts Fletcher School.
Well, now that was this afternoon around 1 o'clock. The new news is President Trump left the G7 in Canada early with all the world leaders to come back to the White House, get in the Situation Room, and he wants to join the Israeli war against Iran. What is wrong with him? Like, who's advising him? Eight senators have come forth with a bill forbidding President Trump from entering that war. Like, what is wrong? Why would he think, like, President Trump thinks that he don't have, like, he thinks that they're poor, they don't have bombs, they don't have billionaires. We're talking about Persia, Alexander the Great, Daniel in the lion's den. That's what we're talking about here. And everything ain't about billionaires. And it seems like they want to bomb everything in the Bible. They bombed Syria, Damascus. They bombed Lebanon, Cedar Oaks. They bombed the West Bank. They bombed Gaza, the birthplace of Jesus. There's only place they ain't bombed. They bombed the Red Sea, Yemen. Only place they ain't bombed so far is what's next? They're gonna bomb the pyramids. They're gonna go to Cairo. Cairo's after Americans now. Like, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with them? They're gonna learn. Let's see what we got here. Headline. You want to? Let's read some of the headlines. Some of the headlines. Thomas Messi, congressional member. This is not our war, but if it were, Congress must decide such matters according to our Constitution. I'm introducing a bipartisan war powers resolution tomorrow to prohibit our involvement. I invite all members of Congress to this resolution. He's about to get impeached a third time. He already broke the impeachment record 2 times. The president's about to get impeached a third time before he even reaches 150, 200 days back in office. James Carville said it'd be 6 months. It's about to be 6 months. What's wrong? Who's advising the president? And it's not just Iran. It's China, Russia, North Korea. They want to turn up. They want to turn up on America. What we got here? Fox News, CBS News is now reporting that the United States will not join Israel in an offensive strike against Iran, per U.S. officials. Thank God. One guy. U.S. is not attacking Iran and remains in a defensive posture per U.S. Fuck it. If Trump takes us to war, I'm done with him. Administration. I voted for no wars, cheap gas, no taxes, cheap groceries. What of these things has actually happened? I'm pissed. This is patriot. Kiss the Republican majority goodbye for the next decade. If he pulls the trigger, it's all over for MAGA. How can a city U.S. president, tell a city of almost 10 million people, Tehran, Persia, 10 million, immoral and evil? China warns citizens to leave Israel immediately. Loud blast heard in Tel Aviv. Tucker Carlson says if the United States gets involved in Iran, it could be the end of the American empire. Notice how Trump pretends Iran was anywhere close to a nuclear bomb. Not true and false. I've been hearing this my entire life. This is about regime change. The president earlier, Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign. What a shame. Waste of human lives. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. The historic Tehran, they want to destroy it. Tehran, thousands of years old. Gaza, they're gonna destroy it. They don't want to touch it. They don't want the smoke. They don't want the smoke. Spirit, they don't want the smoke with that. They don't want the smoke. I don't know what happened. What's wrong with the president? Why? The media. Hold on, what's going on here? He was all out of it. I'm not in it. I'm not in it. As long as they don't mess with American troops. We don't want a war with Iran. It's all wrong for us. He's only been in office. He's been in office since January 20th. Today is June 16th. Not even 5 months. So that's about 150 days. And if we get in a war with Iran, China, they loving it. Russia and Putin, President Xi, they're loving this. They're all wrong for us. They're all wrong for us. We ain't got time. We don't have the resource. We're in the middle of a trade war. The money ain't even coming in to our country like it once was 6 months ago. It's all wrong for us.
Hey, we can get the same money for 2 top contenders. Why go after Balboa? Why?
Because there's still a lot of people out there that think he won. There's a lot of people out there accusing me of having the fight fixed, accusing me of being a fake and insulting my kids in school. That's why.
You want to hear the truth?
Yeah, I want to hear the truth.
The truth is that last time he was damn lucky. Now he's all finished. I mean, he's been hanging around doing nothing for 6 months. And any trainer worth anything wouldn't have nothing to do with it. Now I say, let's go after some new meat. Forget this bum.
Forget Iran.
Last time, do you?
Forget them.
You got the decision.
Man, I won, but I didn't beat him. What are you afraid of, Tony?
Honest?
Yeah, honest.
He's all wrong for us, baby.
Iran
So we beat that man like I never saw no man get beat before.
They got bombed.
The man kept coming after you.
They kept coming at me.
We don't need that kind of man in our life.
We don't need that type of country in our life.
I know what you're feeling.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go. We don't need no Iran.
Let it go.
Let it go.
You're the champ.
We're the champ. We're the greatest.
Thank you. Look, you're in charge of my public relations, right? I want a whole new campaign started. I want something done publicly to bring this man out. I want something done to jar at this man's pride. I want something done to get the people around him talking. All right?
You realize if we use this humiliation tactic, you're setting yourself up as the bad guy.
Look, man, whatever gets him in the ring.
Iran is all bad for us. They bombed that man and bombed that man, and they kept coming back. Let it go. Let it go. They're all wrong for us, baby. There's a bunch of other contenders. No trainer will ever, except for China, no supplier ever supply them except for Beijing. Let them all go. Let Iran go. Alexander the Great. Daniel in the lion's den. Gilligan off the island. And you're watching Who Cleaned Them Chitlins? Because I don't eat everybody's chitlins, baby. Are there any balls in them chitlins? And who bought this potato salad over with the raisins in it? Once again, Iran is all bad. Iran, sorry. When they were, I was saying Iran when they were protesting 2 years ago on TikTok, and the Iranian people, they would come on, Tehran people. They'd be like, it's not Iran, it's Iran, Iran, Iran. So to the people in Tehran, Iran, we're praying for you. America, we love the Iranian people. A lot of Iranian Americans who clean those chitlins exclusive. You want to see some more tweets? I'm gonna read some more tweets for you guys. I can't even believe it. We almost, the president almost something getting involved in Iran. Iran. Okay, New York Times reports Trump is weighing whether to help Israel destroy the nuclear enrichment facility at Fordow, which only American busters can reach. U.S. currently not joining Israel operations offensively. CBS. The president was getting them phone calls. He getting them phone calls from Congress. They know somebody been in the president's ear, probably Benjamin Netanyahu, talking all crazy, hyping the president up. The president's easily influenced sometimes. I don't like it when he's like that. Any social media influencer, politician, or journalist supporting war with Iran should be sent to the front lines. The United States will not join Israel offensively in its military operation, CBS reports, citing U.S. officials. President Donald Trump has never wavered in his stance that Iran cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon, a pledge he has made repeatedly, both in office and on the campaign trail. What else? Messi introduces the war bill. Bernie Sanders files his legislation to stop Trump from leading us into an illegal war with Iran. He had the Congress. Lord have mercy. The president had a supermajority in Congress, historic election victory. A president hasn't lost and come back and won again after out of turn since is it Grover Washington? Is it Grover Washington? Grover Cleveland. Grover Cleveland in 1889 or something like that. 100 years, over 100 years. He wins a supermajority in Congress. No, he don't win a supermajority, but he wins a majority in Congress. It's day 150, let's say. And he steps from a third impeachment, steps away from a third impeachment. We wouldn't want to see that. Canada Prime Minister Carney. I fully comprehend why Trump is leaving early. I know he's so glad that the president left early, but it's not good for America because we had all these tricks. We had the president video says he had a trade deal with the EU. No, he had a trade deal with the United Kingdom, two separate entities. And they were going to, Japan's there, maybe South Korea's there, EU, a lot of the EU members. He had a meeting with France Prime Minister tomorrow. I believe the Italian Prime Minister, young lady is there, Flash Gordon. And it's all canceled out because the president's running behind Benjamin Netanyahu. And American people are going to lose out. It's so frustrating. It's frustrating, but it's like it'll all work itself out. Something's up. Trump has instructed his team to try and arrange a meeting with the Iranians as soon as possible. I'm going to repeat. CNN. Trump has instructed his team to try and arrange a meeting with the Iranians as soon as possible. They thought the Iranians would bow down. They're historical. They're so old. It's just the beginning of time. It's just the beginning for people. Beautiful place. Tehran. He wants architecture there, thousands, tens of thousands of years. I'm going to read some more tweets for you. WTF is wrong with this lunatic? Is he threatening to nuke the Iranian capital city of Tehran for the safety of the U.S. and the world? President Trump needs to be removed from office immediately. What else we got? Breaking. Israeli Channel 14 that Trump is, this was an hour ago, so in the last 30 minutes, things have changed. Israeli Channel 14 reports that Trump is expected to sign an order within hours to formally enter the Israel-Iran war. Reports also suggest the U.S. may have already begun strikes on Tehran. Aircraft carriers, jets, troop movement. This isn't posturing anymore, it's positioning. Very, very official, they're saying. And when they say that on live TV, it usually means it's already underway. This may be the moment the U.S. crosses the point of no return. Brian Allen. Marjorie Taylor Greene, about an hour ago. Tucker Carlson is one of my favorite people. He fiercely loves wife, children in our country. Since being fired by the neocon network Fox News, he has more popularity and viewers than ever before. He unapologetically believes the same things I do. Uh-oh. Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of the president's staunchest allies. That if we don't fight country and our own people, we will no longer have a country for our children and our grandchildren. Marjorie Taylor Greene. And foreign wars, interventions, regime change put America last. Kill innocent people, are making us broke, and will ultimately lead to our destruction. That's not kooky, Mr. President. She didn't say Mr. President, I added it on. Of Americans voted for. It's what we believe is America first. Marjorie Taylor Greene. The president's taking these losses. He ain't got to take, but he got some wacky people around him. It's like Ivanka's not around him, Jared's not around. He got, weird people, and it's sad to see the president's presidency look like it is in only 150 days. So much potential. 150 days. 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 And the same thing that took down Joe Biden's presidency, Benjamin Netanyahu, is going to take down Donald Trump's presidency. Why doesn't he see that? Why doesn't he see that? Who's cleaning these chitlins? I ain't gonna eat everybody's chitlins. Are there any malls in them chitlins? And who made that potato salad? Who made the potato salad? We no longer see missiles. They're falling instead of instantly out of nowhere. Israel's internet is down. No images.
Of good against evil, America does, should, and does stand with the good. That's what.
So he's trying to hustle America to get into a war, just like he hustled us to get into Iraq. And he thinks so little of us. They think so little of us. They can, it's like X is the biggest media, is the biggest news outlet in the world. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when they dragged us into Iraq, it was internet, but it wasn't X and Facebook and TikTok. But Benjamin Netanyahu today, ABC News gives him a microphone to talk to the American people. Disney, they fired Terry Moran, but they let this guy get on the air. Let's see what he has to say. ABC News today, I think with John Carl.
It's Tel Aviv, tomorrow it's New York. I understand America first. I don't understand America dead. That's what these people want. They chant death to America. So we're doing something that is in the service of mankind, of humanity, and it's a battle of good against evil. America does, should, and does stand with the good. That's what President Trump is doing, and I deeply appreciate his support.
John Carl joins me now. So, John, what else did he say about President Trump and how he wants the U.S. to play a role here, or did he?
Well, look, he praised President Trump over and over again in this interview. He knows that he needs the United States support, at least in terms of doing what the U.S. is doing now, which is helping Israel defend itself from those retaliatory attacks from Iran. So it was all couched in a thank you, President Trump. You've been Israel's best friend, but he made it clear that he would like to see more. He didn't come out and directly say it in those ways, but what you heard, what you played right there, I understand America first. I don't understand America dead. He is really speaking to those in the Trump movement, those in the MAGA movement who are adamantly opposed to the United States getting involved in another Middle East conflict. And as you know, Kira, there are some prominent voices, supporters, outside advisors of Donald Trump who are saying, don't get involved. The United States can't be involved. You campaigned against forever wars. People like Tucker Carlson, Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk. Those are, close supporters of Donald Trump who are saying that they don't think the United States should be involved in this. And Netanyahu, it seemed to me, by using their language, I understand America first, I don't understand America dead, was speaking directly to Donald Trump and to his supporters who are critical of what Israel is doing.
That's a Marjorie Taylor Greene. Over the president warned that 10 million people in Tehran leave their own city, threatened them with fear. 10 million. Look. The people of Tehran panicking because the president of the United States was threatening to bomb their city. United States, or whatever you want to call it, for them to immediately Joe Biden never done that. Good people, with fear. What about America's reputation in the world? People are supposed to trust the American people. Not have any fear. People are supposed to trust the American president. No matter how poor they are, how rich they are, supposed to know that the red and blue stars and stripes, they can depend on, they can trust. God bless America. What God. God is just. What happened to God? What happened? That's what they call the world are supposed to trust the American president. That America is God's country. That today, a historic city like Tehran, Iran, the president, I don't even know how it happened. He was so calm in the morning in Canada, and then during the late afternoon, he tells the people to like he's going to bomb them every day. The president's threatening to bomb people. No, that's not a presidency. Oh, we're going to bomb you. We're going to bomb you. We're going to bomb you. You better do, human lives. Waste of human lives. Who is writing his speeches? Who is writing his tweets? We are God. One nation under God. Look at it. In God we trust. To the republic which it stands. One nation under God. God ain't gonna go bombing people. I ain't even gonna talk about the 70-year embargo we got with unbelievable. Never seen it. Congress is very good. Big man Pelosi and Mitch McConnell ain't ready. They ready. Believe me. They ready. They ready. And they got numbers too. For something like going into a war without Trump, he begins to be the sixth president. You guys still with me? 1, 2, 1, 2. Eric Trump, the president's son, on Sean Hannity. Eric's wife, Laura Trump, also has a show on Fox. So he can get on Fox real easy. All he got to do is call wifey, and he can set it up real quick, you know. My father has always been very direct. I do not want to go to war. I want peace on earth. I am sick and tired of seeing these young men and women all over the world, innocent civilians. I'm sick and tired of seeing them die. But at the same time, we're going to have the greatest, strongest military on earth. And if we have to use it, we're going to knock the hell out of them. It will be so decisive. It will be over so quickly. I really wish people on the other side of the world would listen to those comments. That's from the president's son on Sean Hannity, Fox News tonight. Haven't we heard those words before? Mission accomplished. Oh, Iraq's going to be real quick. 6 months. Didn't Dick Cheney say 6 months? And they're saying that this is this is a different time. America, the dollar ain't that strong. America, we're coming out of 4 years of Biden. Before that, 4 years of Trump. We're in the new 4 years of Trump, and things ain't the same. And anybody that thinks that Iran, and it's not Iran, they're China, India, Russia. That's where they all get their petroleum from. So if you mess with their economy, you're messing with India, China, Russia, North Korea, because North Korea depends on China. Four minutes ago, Rubio is also headed back to DC. He's useless anyway. Secretary of State, he's useless. Rubio is also headed back to DC, leaving G7 earlier. So there go our trade deals, guys. Everybody hoping for quick trade deals so we can get Jerome Powell to cut tomorrow and the next day, because the Fed meets tomorrow for 2 days. And the president's hoping to get a 1 point cut. That's over with, because you guys are leaving Canada without an EU deal, without a South Korea deal, without a Japan deal. So you ain't getting no cut. And soon Jerome Powell's going to raise it when those docks come in empty. What we got here? Four minutes ago, CBS. U.S. I want to see myself. Hold on. Let's get it right. U.S. officials clarify America not joining Israel offensive as cabinet maintains routine standby. U.S. officials told CBS News Monday evening that America is not participating in Israel's military offensive against Iran, despite heightening diplomatic activity as Trump returns from the G7 summit early. while reporters suggested Trump order the National Security Council and Situation Room, did Wolf Blitzer go? Situation Room to be ready, officials clarified that the cabinet members and the National Security Council are already on standby 24 hours a day, a routine that's been in place since Israel's strikes on Iran began last week. The clarification comes as Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth heads to the White House Situation Room, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio returns with Trump from Canada, who has reportedly instructed his team to seek direct talks with Iran officials. Despite the diplomatic urgency and military repositioning in the region, the U.S. appears focused on de-escalation rather than military escalation alongside Israel. CBS News. Shout out to Jennifer Jacobs. And Beyond the Gates, the whole Paramount family, Sherry Redstone, everybody over 60 Minutes. I hope the president takes that settlement and gets that case over quickly. So is it Stargate? That's Elon is Stargate. So what's the Larry Ellison, David Ellison? They are Paramount merger. And I'm using old Google. Skydance. So let's get it together. Let's get the settlement out to the president. And let's get the Skydance Paramount merger over with. What a day, what a day. The market was on fire. AI is ruling the world. South Carolina Senator. Here we go. Hold on. He's loony. I got a loony one here. I got a loony one here. I got a loony one here.
The task at hand. Be all in, President Trump, in helping Israel eliminate the nuclear threat. If we need to provide bombs to Israel, provide bombs. If we need to fly planes with Israel, do joint operations. But here's the bigger question. Wouldn't the world be better off if the Ayatollahs went away and replaced by something better? Wouldn't Iran be better off? Tom Cotton is coming on. He made a great observation. The endless wars of Iran. Since 1979, they've been attacking the entire region, chanting death to America, death to Israel since their very founding. It's time to close the chapter on the Iranian Ayatollah and his henchmen. Let's close that chapter soon and start a new chapter in the Mideast, one of tolerance, hope, and peace.
But the Trump doctrine seems to be very clear tonight, Senator, and that is that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, number one, and I agree with that.
The task at hand. Be all in, President Trump, in helping Israel eliminate the nuclear threat. If we need to provide bombs to Israel, provide bombs. If we need to fly planes with Israel, do joint operations. But here's the bigger question. Wouldn't the world be better off if the Ayatollahs went away and replaced by something better? Wouldn't Iran be better off? Tom Cotton is coming on. He made a great observation. The endless war is Iran. Since 1979, they've been attacking the entire region, chanting death to America, death to Israel since their very founding. It's time to close the chapter on the Iranian Ayatollah and his henchmen. Let's close that chapter soon and start a new chapter in the Mideast, one of tolerance, hope, and peace.
But the Trump doctrine seems to be very clear tonight, Senator, and that is that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, number one, and
there go another one. Like, I need some music.
Loving you so, I was too blind to see you letting me go. But now that you set me free, it's gonna take a miracle. Yes, it's gonna take a miracle to make me love someone new. 'Cause I'm crazy for you. Oh, didn't you know? It wouldn't be so easy, you letting me go. You can be sure that now it's gonna take a miracle. Yes, it's gonna take a miracle to make me love someone new. 'Cause I'm crazy for you. Oh, though I know I can't forget about you, I'm gonna try just to show you how much you're turning me around, destroying me. I'll never be the same as before you. Must realize you took your love and left me right by surprise. You can be sure that now it's gonna take a miracle. Yes, it's gonna take a miracle to make me love someone new. 'Cause I'm crazy for you. Yes, it's gonna take a miracle. Yes, it's gonna take a miracle to make me love someone new. 'Cause I'm crazy about you. Gotta take a miracle. Gotta take a miracle. Ooh, baby. 'Cause I'm crazy for you. Baby, it's gonna take a miracle.
you. I know I had to do a quick song. Lord have mercy. God bless America. What else we got here?
Beautiful. I know. It's so beautiful. It's good. Wow, this is big. I got everything from my wife. My wife Diana. You go over there. I'll put you in the middle. Okay, good. Yeah. Not bad. Put together for it. We got the program every day. We said 100% chance of rain. I don't think it's talented. I thought it was good. But that's how it's 50 years old. You did? Okay. All right. So you can come this way. Yeah, and then we'll step on forward.
Are you considering sending sponsor buses to Israel, sir?
President of the United States of America, l'honorable Donald J. Trump, président des États-Unis d'Amérique.
Beautiful. I know. It's so beautiful. It's good. Wow, this is big. I got everything from my wife. My wife Diana. Beautiful. You go over there. I'll put you in the middle. Okay, good. Yeah. Not bad. Put together for it.